Now we have sound. What's up, Derek? I couldn't even realize I turned the sound off. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like automatic when it opens up that the sound's off. I'll have to remember that for tomorrow. Sorry about that. That's probably why nobody was in there. They're like, oh, no sound again. Bye.
Brad's keeping all the secrets
It
from YouTube.
looks like we've got some profit taking up here. Nothing crazy, but it doesn't. Not that I'm getting short or anything, but it's just not looking amazing. What's interesting too is like I mean, it's just the buying literally is just straight from information and technology sector, like the FANG stocks basically. And so if they start to fade, this thing will really start. If they start to actually come down, this thing will really start to fade hard. But they look strong. Are financials up too? Yeah, financials. That's another thing too, is that so with the yield curve, right? If we look at we look at the 10 year, and we can see that the 10 year is coming down. They're pricing in um here 30 years. We can probably just compare it to TLTs. Um so here's the 10 year, the yield's getting crushed. Here's the 20 year, the yield's getting crushed. Oh, there it is. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so we're looking at a 10 year, a 20 year yield, and a 30 year yield. So right now, what this chart is telling us is that it's actually cheaper to borrow money for longer. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird. It's actually like really weird, but it's what's going on right now. So if you're going to borrow money, just borrow it for 30 years. So, if you're going to borrow $20,000, you get a better long-term rate on it, or better return on it for a longer term, which is not that's what's kind of leading me to this, kind of downside bias that I'm having, is because I just don't understand why the yields are inverted. This is back like 5 days. This is, I mean, just happened on March 9th. You can see where they crossed. Just 30 years way up, 10 years down. We could even compare this to like a 2 year yield and see how high this 2 year yield is. Just, I don't know, it's just not making it. DNX way up here still. I don't know. It's just something to pay attention to, right? Because you don't want to be, well, if you missed out on the whole COVID thing, or getting a long term and that huge gain. I think there's probably a lot of FOMO this year, and now there's a lot of fear on, okay, well, when can I buy this dip? And now people today are probably getting to that point where they're like, oh shit, I should have bought it, which is why we're seeing all this green in um in the tech stocks, right? if we look at Apple, look at daily, was a did I lose the button? Market's moving down a little bit here, guys. Look for it to establish this 4,500 as a support, like we talked about. If it's not able to establish that 4,500 as support, well, it's probably going to come back down and look to repair some of this weaker structure that it zipped by earlier. Be a nice little bounce there. I just wanted to see the volume for the day. On some of these bigger. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we had pretty constant volume this day here. That big move up was that breakout of balance. That was Friday, right? A lot of volume that day because of the quad witching and everything. So I'm kind of chalking that up to nothing. And then yesterday's volume was pretty light. We still had an up day. Today's volume is kind of going here. So, it's just something to look into. Yeah, we're up, but does that necessarily mean a little bit of liquidation here? Does that necessarily mean that it's going to continue, or is it something that today the reason that the market's up is just because there is nobody selling and they're just letting price get ran up, right? And you can see it's just where it's at really, and it's all in these heavy tech stocks. And if we gotta get rid look here, starting to see a lot of rollover and a little bit of downside from the market, right? So I mean, nothing to fear yet as far as like big downside comes, and we are getting a little bit of interest in this lower area. Next support down would be like the 44.90 around this around where this thin volume's at, right? To do some backfilling and then try to hold a support. We do have single prints below still and a really thin spot.
Is that singles between the A high and the D low as well?
Yeah. So yeah, right here. Yeah, I could.
Yeah. I guess we had both, right? Above that and then below B.
We did, yeah. You can preset all these buttons.
Yeah, I watched like an hour tutorial yesterday. Yeah,
That's a
so much.
yeah. There's so much so much customization available for this. Wild. But it's nice too because when I'm doing stuff, I can just like don't have to fucking type it in, just click it, click another button, and then we're set, we're ready to go. So starting to see Apple turn up a little bit. And remember, Apple's strong enough really to kind of hold the market up by itself. So yeah, some of these tech stocks can start to fade, but today I don't think Apple's going to be able to do the job by themselves just because there's no other support. Like a couple days ago, when we were heading up, so a couple days ago when we were heading up, and we can see kind of the decreasing volume on the ES, but the ES volume doesn't really matter intraday, right? Because a lot of people are trading ES are speculating, and a lot of people that are trading the ES are hedging. So it just depends on who's in the pit that day. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily um not necessarily going to change based off of this volume. That's why we track the NYSE volume. The volume that I post in the trade view every day is the NYSE. But anyway, so when we were squeezing up right here, we saw a bunch of weakness besides Nvidia and Apple early on, right? Before we came out of balance is where we kind of saw all of that strength. But when we were trading up, we had energy, we had financials, and we had some of the safer plays like consumer staples, right? Some of the, what do they call these, boomer stocks, right? Walmart, Procter Gamble, Coca-Cola, which you guys know I love Coca-Cola, not the drink, but just the stock, right? They pay a dividend. They're just like a good place to like just sit your money. No, it's not probably going to go to a million, but it's definitely not going to go to zero. I mean, polar bears got to drink somewhere, right? But today, we're not really getting that strength. I mean, yeah, we got overall strength in the big players, but if some of these start to fade, some of these big players start to fade, Apple's going to have a tough time holding itself up, holding the rest of the market up. And we could see Apple here if we busted on 30 minutes. And if you look at Apple without extended hours, right? They're saying Apple's up because it's based off of yesterday, but starting to look a little bit fadey. But Apple's still one time framing, right? 1, 2, 3. Honestly, 10 bars in a row of one time framing. That's not something that you typically be like, oh, I'm going to short that. Unless like, oh, or a gambler, either or. So it comes down to that 90. Where did it get down to, like 96? Yeah, and in reality, like, I mean, you're honestly better off being patient. I know it's sometimes frustrating to wait for the trade to come to you, but you're better off being patient and letting this trade drift back down into these single prints, seeing the buyers step up and then riding the price up, right? Than just like trying to get long here and look for the top, or trying to short here and look for the single prints. It's just not a it's just more of a higher risk, right? And in all honesty, it's just a waste of time and effort and mental capital and psychological damage that you'll take if you lose. It's just not worth it. Everyone loves to see 1,000% or like a huge hit, but you know what's way more sexy than that? Consistent, right? Oh, and you guys want to hear something? How dumb I am? Those SPY puts that I bought yesterday, I didn't realize that they expired yesterday. So I'd sold half of them, so at least I got my money back. But I thought they expired on Friday. I must have looked at the expiration wrong. I thought they were weeklies, but they were dailies. And I mean, they're worth nothing now, obviously. But I thought they were weeklies. Should have just cashed them out big time yesterday, but didn't. And I was gonna hold them till the end of the week, but they expired. So.
How does that work, Brad? So where does that money go since you didn't collect it?
So I bought some puts yesterday, and I think I spent like $1,200 total to get them, and then I ended up selling half of them for like $1,000, and then they're worth, at the end of the day, especially since the market went up. So when the end of the day hits, and the end of the day yesterday was basically back like right at our open, right, for the most part. And so they were out of the money, and so they were worth like 0.0005 cents, which is nothing basically. And so then the next day, they just fall off.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if like let's say if they expired in the money, I could get exercise, and then I would just own shares of the SPY because it was a SPY short. Um, but or like let's say if I bought some 48.90 puts, right, and the price comes down here, it gets in the money, and it just stays here and expires. A lot of times, what a good broker does, if they have a good relationship, and if you have a brokerage and you haven't called your broker to at least like introduce yourself, you probably should. I know it might seem a waste of time, but it's literally their job to know their clients and continue business, even if you don't have a large account. It's their job. And TD Ameritrade's a pretty helpful company. For me, it has been. Um, so I've never got. Actually, I did get exercise when I got exercise on some Caesar shares, but that was on Robinhood. But I've never been exercised on TD. And um, what they would do. So let's say you bought them for $1, and at expiry at the end of the day, they're worth like $150. Well, they'll just put that $150 in your account and basically just close the order for you. So a lot of times at the end of the day, especially with the SPY and things like that, um, we'll have, like that. It's like the settlement period. It's the same idea for the SPY settlement period. So the market closes at 1600, but then we still get all these moves after. That's settlement. So that's all these people, all these brokers, basically filling orders that they need to by the end of the day, right? Um, and it just really depends on how the broker wants to do. And the broker, I mean, honestly, that the best thing you can do is close them yourself, because what could happen is the market closes at 1600 and your puts are in the money. Well, the market starts to bounce after, and those SPY puts, I mean, they're daily, so it's going to depend on how the broker closes them out. But if it pops up and the SPY trades 24 hours a day, I mean, he'll just get zero, right? If they expire out of the money, they'll drop the theta will just murder them right at the end of the day. But I mean, in reality, when it comes to options, I know a lot of people do like big time gambles, um, like far out of the money, because you can buy far out of the money calls and stuff for cheap. Watch them, especially on, um, especially on like a weekly play. So here's the SPY 23. So these are Wednesdays. Um, but look, like I mean, if you thought that we were gonna go up to 4060, if you thought we were gonna go up to 4600 by Wednesday, you could spend $3 on these or $4 on these, or even $26 if you thought we are going to go to 4450, right? So that's not terrible bad play. You can see a lot of volume on there, and they're only up about 15 cents, so that's not bad. And anything you see on here is not 25 cents, it's $25. It's just how it's on there. That's how it is on the option. And you can do the same thing like these cheap puts. I'm actually looking at this play here in about these 4,000 puts, 400 puts on the SPY. You see how much volume they have today? Look at that. Yeah, they're down about 86 cents today. I don't have a. This doesn't matter. Um, so they're down about 12% today. So pretty decent. Pretty decent opportunity. But I'm kind of getting ready to size into them. I think maybe with earnings, if earnings comes out and it's bad, there might be some pull down. And those are really, those SPY puts would just be like a hedge against my my long-term portfolio. So look, they came back down, broke down to 93.50. Pop right back up. The volume's starting to pick up on the downside, it looks like here. So be careful. Starting to see some of our tech start to flatten out. And this happened earlier too. So it happened I think it was I think it was during B period, starting to flatten out, and then all of a sudden they popped up and took those stops. So because you got to figure people only have so much money, so when they're buying, eventually buying runs out. We know that that's how the auction process works, and it comes back to find buyers. If it finds the buyers, then it can continue its path up. If it can't find the buyers, then it has to bid down lower until it finds the buyers, or if selling starts to come in, it has to bid down lower to shut off the selling. Right? So it's a double-edged kind of sword that we play here, because it's up to our personal interpretation if when price is moving down, did a buyer step in and start buying this thing up? Should we buy it? Or did it simply just bounce because sellers are not selling, right? They stopped selling. And the same thing on the upside. Okay, this thing ran up, but did it stop running up because there was no buyers, or did it stop running up because there was a seller that stepped in? And so when we look at the profile, we see we have good excess. This E high is pretty mechanical next to that C high, so I really don't like that high. I think they'll probably try to fix it. But this D excess is pretty good excess. 262 contracts on the top kind of tells me that there's still some interest up here. But just because there's interest doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to trade up there. If we don't get any selling, and it doesn't look like we've seen any supply in the market today at all, good odds that good odds that we do go up there and visit that level. But we have the good excess. So if it does come up, right, and it fixes it, even if it just fixes it by 1 or 2 ticks and this excess still holds, well, that's still good excess, and that gives us an opportunity to try a fade with a tight stop, right? And what we're looking for when we're looking for this fade is if price comes up here, when they run the high of E, is there, what's the tempo, and do they hold the impulse? Right? So when they run, do they just keep going? Does the price, I mean, even if it's a slow grind, is it still a slow grind up, or does it just start to rotate and fade? And that's just kind of telling you that people are doing one of these little circle action, right? They're buying and selling, buying and then selling, buying. Look into the circle. Listen to my voice. Well, hocus pocus. Steve Mills, hey, good morning. You really want to learn to trade for consistent results? You are in the right place. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really do try to do my best and help everybody be profitable. And really, honestly, it does look like a P, TJ. That's a good observation. I didn't even think about that. It really does. The only thing that's kind of weird is that on a typically on a P profile, normally we'll see a P profile like the day after a down day, see like a pop up, and then but I mean there definitely could be a lot of people that shorted that 4,500, and so every time they get under 4,500 they cover. So that's a really good observation, and it really does. I mean, pretty clear as day, right? I know my drawings are terrible. Uh-oh. holding. Tell me what the. Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy, Brad, until you figure out how to do this with calligraphy. I want to see that P look beautiful.
Shit. I mean, my handwriting is. I mean, you guys have seen it. It doesn't get much better when it's on a pen. I'll tell you that. My handwriting is getting better though because I've been practicing. So maybe one day. Half back of all three of these periods are the same. Why is it not showing it here? Okay, here. Where is? There we go. Good. Yeah, so you can see how the halfbacks are just lined right back up. That's funny. But so a key here too is look at the 4,500 level in this session, right? You would think if they were going to hold us above that price, then they would have been buying that 4,500 again, but they didn't. So now you look for continuation, or you look for support somewhere to the downside, and I like to look for these low volume areas. I know everyone's looking for high volume areas, but the key is to pay attention to what happens at low volume areas, because that's going to tell you a lot. It's going to tell you the interest, and I mean, this paying attention to something like that and understanding the auction market process is very key. I know it's easy to just stick a profile on the side and be like, oh, look at just buy here and you'll just win. But if we look at, you know, long-term volume, and we'll just look at it on crypto real quick. But I mean, you can see look where these came down to, right? They didn't make it back down to this volume. They came into the thin volume and nobody was selling down here. So price didn't continue, right? And so that's a key sign for us here. I mean, it's just it's not gonna it's not really not really a long-term strategy, right? A lot of people I think are more looking for long-term. They want to be buying support and stuff like that. But understanding how the auction market actually works, or how the auction process actually works, you're going to want to, or it can help you stay on sides when you see that reaction at that level. So we get down to a level, you know, kind of like this E low, right? We came right down to where that thin volume was at, and then boom, short started covering back up again. Well, that's telling us that there's just not any supply in the market today, right? Nobody's selling this thing down. So until we start to see selling, right? I mean, yeah, we had a cessation of one time framing. E is still an inside bar. D was, you know, took the both sides of C, took the high and the low. They call it an outside bar. Is that right? Like that they might call it an outside bar. I'm not sure about the candlestick patterns, but um, you know, right here we just kind of have to pay attention, and when we get up here in this volume, this 4,500, like I was saying during this session, during this E session, they're still not getting a lot of buying. So we're kind of trapped in between these two weak volume levels here, and when it comes to those levels, it gives us the tell that buying is kind of weak right now and selling is kind of weak, but we know based off of value being higher that the right side for now until we close this lower distribution is probably the buy side. So it'd be better to stay patient, wait for opportunities like when E came down right here, and just take a nice little long back up to that 4,500. Today's a little bit more scalpy of a day, it feels like, especially later this late in this. Now they're tempting me. Oil's still hanging out there down towards its low. But that's right, I have to do taxes. Ruined my day. Elon Musk can't avoid scrutiny of his Tesla tweets, SEC says. Starting to pick up a little bit of steam down here. Starting to see kick a little volume right there. Might have just short covering. Popped right back up. I don't know. It looks like there's some interest down there though, to be honest. There might be some aggressive buying. And aggressive buying could just be like a sign of short covering, so not actual buying. Bitcoin's starting to come down a little bit too here. This is why I love market structure so much. Like, when did we draw these lines? I don't know, a week ago on Bitcoin, right? And it literally just comes up and just smacks it. It's just, I love how market. So E's inside. So let's watch F here. If F is able to take that low of E, where that thin volume's at, watch for the reaction, and that could cause that continuation and look to fill that lower distribution. Does everyone understand the concept of no supply when I say something like that? Like there's no supply out on the market, and that's why we're going up?
I do.
Well, I mean, I'll just explain it. Some people might just not want to admit. It's good to admit when you don't know stuff, though. Just heads up. Um, but so when I'm saying there's no supply, so imagine, and I'm going to use the same thing I always use, the farmers market, because I just love the farmers market. Okay, so imagine this guy here. He has 100 apples for sale, right? And then there's people up here, way up here, and they've got just an unlimited amount of apples. Well, this guy, people get to the farmer's market and this guy's apples are gone, right? Those 100 just go. And then every once in a while, one of these guys up here will toss a couple apples, sell a couple here, sell a couple here. sell a couple here. But what I mean by no supply is if this guy up here has 1,000 apples and price is here, and this guy just sold 100 apples, so this guy being smart, saying, "Oh well, these buyers they're ravenous. They love these apples. They'll buy them for double. I'm just gonna wait." And that's what happens is you don't get any of this supply, so nobody is selling, right? And that's kind of what we saw yesterday. That all of that selling that we saw yesterday was just liquidation. It was just longs taking profit, and then the price just rebounded. And then the market got a little bit too short off that Powell news, and then we saw that nice rebound into the end of the day, and that's kind of what gave us the continuation for today, because a lot of people got too short yesterday and they got fucked. You saw the squeeze up today, but the squeeze up, like I said, wasn't really a lack or wasn't really in this exponential amount of buyers. It was just that there was no supply, and most of the buying early on, and you can see, look, 319, 420, it was just a squeeze up of all of the people from yesterday buying their short contracts back. And so if supply doesn't come in, right, to actually test these buyers, they can run price up as long as they want. Because if you're selling, if I'm selling apples for 44.90 and TJ selling apples for 4,500 and Trin selling apples for 45.12, and she's like, I'm not selling them for any less than 45.12. Well, if they don't, if what can happen in order to get up here, right, when there's no other supply down here, like all of mine get bought out, all of TJ's get bought out, what can happen is people will start to trickle orders down here, like, oh, hey, here's an apple, and people will snatch it up. And that's what happens. People start snatching all these apples, snatching all these apples, snatching all these apples, and price just runs up, right? And then eventually they run into Trin where she's selling these apples, and they're like, oh, shit, chill out for a second, right? And then they come down, and these buyers that were earlier start doing a little bit more buying, a little bit more buying. And you can kind of see how these thin spots, and we're about to test one of them here. The tempo is so low, but that's basically what I mean. So something can easily just keep squeezing up if nobody's selling it, right? It's like I mean, think about toilet paper during COVID, right? Somebody got online and fucking bought like every toilet paper roll that they could buy, and then they started slinging toilet paper for like the price of cocaine. You know what I mean? It was insane. So it's that same idea. We get mechanical low and a mechanical high right here on F period, guys. And so that's kind of what you have to think about sometimes when you're looking at the market and you're like, why the fuck is this thing going up? Why is it going up? Well, then you take a peek over here at the volume and you're like, oh, that's why, because there's no supply. I mean, look at this volume off the open. 15% less volume, but price just shot right up 10%. And then look where we saw, so A, B, C period, you saw a volume increase. D period, E period, F period's not over yet, so that won't count at the volume. But you guys see what I mean? There's no volume going up. It's just a squeeze. And so this is something that can keep you, I mean, you're staying on the right side naturally, because we were one time framing to the upside until D period. Well, actually until C period, and then D period. D period actually took the low after, I think. The volume didn't start to kick in until that C period, right at that 4,500. And then more volume came into D period to actually break the low. So that tells you when they did break the low, they actually tried to push the price lower. They were just unsuccessful. They didn't have enough supply. So they came down, they had all these apples, came down, and they're like, yeah, let's keep selling them. And then they ran out, right? They had 100 apples and they sold them down, sold them down, sold them down, sold them down, got to here, and they had 0 apples left. And Trin sitting up here at 512 with her 100 apples, and she's like, I'm not fucking selling them that cheap. I'll just wait. See what I mean? So then the market squeezes back up because it's searching for apples. Sorry for using the F word. I just can't. We probably could. It's just won't. Can't. And you know who looks the weakest today? Or at least is showing the biggest swing? Tesla. Tesla, I mean, Tesla's a pretty good stock, but you're looking at Tesla. Off the open, it kind of did a little head fake down to yesterday's point of control and then back up. But it's taking these breaks and it had a real big pushback. Seems to be getting kind of stuck. A little cessation of one time framing, but nothing too crazy. Back to Apple quick. Apple good. Amazon broke one time framing, kind of getting a little bounce, probably just short covering. Facebook's looks really good the past couple of days, but it's starting to look a little bit weaker here now. Nvidia is showing a little bit of weakness. I mean, but Nvidia has showed so much strength lately that it's pretty normal for some to start taking a little bit of a break. All right, Luis. Starting to see a little bit of weakness here too. Microsoft, Tesla starting to curl over, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Netflix starting to chill out a little bit. And you can see here, like, here's the high. Facebook didn't make a higher high. There's the high of Netflix, didn't make a higher high. This is a 1 minute, right? So it's going fast because how I have it. But um, Apple, oh, it's straight. Apple looks the strongest. So I'm saying Tesla looks the weakest because the high on Tesla's way up here. You can see, okay, the high on Tesla is way up here. It broke that previous low, right? So it's actually making consecutive lower lows. So if this high really doesn't break out, then good chance that starts to curl back down and look for buyers. Microsoft pretty flat. Talked about Facebook. Google just looks like it's just consolidating for little absorption down here. 7. They're having a tough time breaking this 4,500. There's something to watch too. Is every time we've seen Luna down, we've seen Bitcoin up, and every time we've seen Bitcoin kind of flat, we've seen Luna making moves. So Luna's kind of trading inversely to the rest of the market, the rest of the crypto verse, at least. Uh, and Luna looks weak. Actually, might be a long play. Only 10% is a bare minimum, like Alex said. Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean Luna does look kind of weak right here, um, but tough to short Luna because when it rips, it just goes. Here's the sectors. Um, Consumer discretionary is the C, but XLK is technology, and XLF is financials. XLY is staples. But you can see, pretty much everything else is down. Where we have two big winners, and I mean financials are a pretty big piece here, but two big winners holding the rest of the market up, and you can kind of see them turning over here. Even if I change 30 minutes, day, you can see it pretty clear. They're kind of consolidating here. I wouldn't say that they're because they haven't really broken the previous lows, but it's more of just a consolidation. Until they start breaking the lows, same thing here, right? Until we start eating into some of these single prints, tough to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna get short. Even with the that B low, I mean, it's not necessarily a mechanical level, but I mean, it's the low is the open, which is it literally just opened and kept going. And you can see all the people that shorted. You can really see it in the chart here. All the people that shorted this move up getting stopped out at the A high, right? That's what causes these blueprints. The buyers stepped up here as price kind of chilled and then out back. And this feels a lot, kind of like during like after COVID happened, we had that well, not a little but pretty big push down, and then some hard rallies followed by some more downside until the market really kind of based out and then started heading its way up, and it got fueled by a bunch of people trying to short the thing the whole time.
Well, yeah, as long as the printing machines stay on, market will go up.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd be hard pressed to tell the rest of America that because they shorted the up move of COVID. A lot of them.
Yeah, true.
So if they're able to push this down, look for that 90 again as support. But it does look like they're trying here for sure.
God, I hate when you say stuff like that, Brad, and I'm in the wrong.
I mean, I mean, it could bounce too. I mean, the 90 last time it came down to the 90, it really just popped up. It's just we had a mechanical high, but we fixed it. Now we have a mechanical low, but I still think that E high is a mechanical high as well because it's just right there, one tick above the C high. So it kind of looks like they just picked a reference and sold that top. That's why I'm saying that D could just be good excess, and until we start testing into that D excess, it's hard to really get long or short until we get out of this range right here. Until the market starts to kind of try to tell us what it wants to do. Every time we get near that low, it just starts to cover back up. It came right down to that 93 area right there. Didn't trade that low again. Only 44 contracts traded. If it does get above the 4,500, you're going to see a lot of stops come out because they've been holding it below 4,500 for a while now. But the thing is, do they have the gas here?
Damn, I hate that where I'm like, oh, I should have just flattened it. Like I was one tick into profit right there, and then it just went straight back down. I was like, damn it.
Starting to see some volume down here. Same thing on the downside too. We could see some capitulation here. If it's able to break below the 90 with some steam, it'll probably target this uh, distribution, the lower distribution of the single print. So careful there too. The 90, oh, 92, I mean, if they get it down. I'm reading in the future, so it's going to 90. I'm telling you right
Stop that.
now. One tick. Look for backfilling. If we don't get backfilling, then it's just going to keep bidding down. And you've got weak volume. Look, 501 contracts here, 319, 422. I mean, there's some weak areas down there. Okay, there's the 90. Sorry, I said it early. This is where buyers tried to hold last time. See, there they go. There's a little capitulation. They didn't like it. Nobody bought. Friends up there throwing apples down at people, knocking them back. Like, here's some apples, take them. And here we go, forcing it down. I swear it's not all me selling. Someone sell.
I know it's you. I know it's you.
Yeah, all
I'm over
fucking
here
all like
just
5,000 of these
watching.
contracts.
Cause dude, yeah, I'm in capitulation because I'm like, damn, it was one tick into profit. Why didn't you take it?
So, I mean, not much below the 90 right there. About 89, 88 maybe. We're back into here. So if they backfill this, it's not. I mean, not necessarily bad. We are one time framing down now too, though. One time framing down into single frames. Here we go. Another complicated nuance of the market profile. AMD getting smacked today?
That's a hell of a backfill too, right there.
Yeah, and see that's what I'm kind of saying is like it doesn't necessarily look. I mean, Netflix is being pretty dramatic, and so is Tesla. But like if you look at like Apple and Google, I mean Facebook actually looks like it's coming down, but it looks more like a consolidation. Even Tesla actually looks pretty strong right here. So 1 minute, the Tesla is making higher lows on the 1 minute. Tesla actually looks pretty strong. You can see like tech and consumer staples really are just consolidating as well. They're not, their lows are way back here. So even if they pull back down into those lows, they can still head higher from there. That's why I said on a day like today, I mean, you know, I did take a short right there, just a quick scalp. I shorted 95 to 90.50. And then I closed the last one at 92 when it started to pop back up. But not a very, not a huge move. But this right here, what I'm looking for is the bigger move, is an opportunity to buy something down here if we start to see some strength in the rest of the market. We haven't seen it yet, but we are doing some backfilling here at that 90, and we saw some buyers step back up where they had originally stepped up during B period. So, but also I do kind of have a bearish bias, and I'm kind of very cautious today.
Come on, buyers.
Someone just smacking the bid here. 154 lots, 18, 13, 50, 8. Next level down is probably the 80. I think. So that I think it might flush this. If they get some supply, it might flush these singles and then just head straight to the 80. Take that B low and then head on back up. The one thing that Jim Dalton talks about a lot is when we have moves like this, that this is a lot of single prints to leave on the bottom, right? It's a weak structure, right? Because not a lot of people got a chance to buy here. And so if everyone's done for the day, let's say big money ran this up. I mean, really, it was just short covering, but it got ran up. Momentum traders got trapped in here. You know, they're probably stopped out already, which is probably what this F low is all about. But if price does drift back down into here, and the big money that ran it up this morning or started covering shorts doesn't buy it, then it can easily just trade right back through. That's why I kind of like excess on the top, because they got a chance here, right? They had a good chance to buy it higher if they wanted to, and they just didn't. And then it just started to fade here. Constantly, when you're observing the market, we want to constantly be thinking about our competitors and who's auctioning where, right? And what kind of position is the market getting itself into, and we want to play off that. And like yesterday, we were able to identify that the selling was emotional, and that led to that late day rally, right? So any of you guys that stayed on the entire day, I know Jared got on later in the day and caught a nice pop at the end of the day, and it it's just simple. I mean, simple auction market theory that they got too short. They weren't able to actually take any significant lows, right? If we go back and look at yesterday, they weren't able to take any real significant lows. Previous day point of control couldn't even get down to the previous day point of control, and then it was just basically a hard rally. Left a bunch of these poor lows. These are late momentum shorters, right? People that missed the party getting short here, got trapped, and then had to cover, and that's what caused that late rally. And then it continued on until today. There was probably a lot of people that got short. But we were able to stay on sides yesterday by understanding, and we even, I took some shorts yesterday too. We rode that downside nice on that news event. And that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that you can't short on an up day. I'm just trying to say more often than not, if you're patient and just wait for the longs on an up day, trade with the trend, you're going to be more successful over time than trying to time the market, which is, what a lot of people do when the market's up real high. They're like, oh, I want to sell it. When it's down real low, they want to buy it instead of paying attention. So now we have a weak mark still at that 90-ish area. We weren't able to backfill any of that 93 up there. So it just looks weak. Now volume's coming down. They're able to take this low. We'll probably get some more. Yeah. They've really got to hold price below 90. If they don't hold price below 90, I think we could probably cover back up too. That's a tricky day. VIX is at 23. It's down a little bit. Oil still down. Yeah, oil is actually just flat pretty much, not really doing much today. Top to right at value area low. Yeah, the daily value areas though, it's about, I would say more it stopped at half back because this is the half back of the profile. It's hard to play the daily value areas as they go on because it is developing. And it's also half back, and I think that's probably why people are buying it here. A little bit of support here from like 83 to 82 and then 80. But I mean, honestly, in order to really make some significant progress for these short sellers, they need to get back below this 200, right, and close below it. That would be the ultimate sign, and I think that is kind of probably the battle today is this level here, 850. That's what it was at least at the open. That now. 68, 63. And so I think that this is kind of be the battle of today where people that are bears or people that want to get short are going to be looking to try to close price inside yesterday's range and below the 200 SMA. And inversely, the buyers are going to be trying to hold it above. So we can imagine that down here, we have the open, the 200 SMA, yesterday's high, that smart money at this point, right? Because we're not seeing a ton of selling. It's just not, we're not. The down is just so slow. It's like, it's like you shot a deer and been 4 hours and you still haven't found it. And you're tracking blood, right? Just slowly bleeding out. Eventually, it's gonna die. But it has a lot of support down here at the bottom. So even if it does rip down here, don't get on your short horse down here, right? Wait for a pullback and wait to see if it's real or if it's.
Dude, I need it to rip up in like the worst of ways right now. Because I thought we were finding support at the 88 and I averaged in again and it broke it again. And I'm like, son of a.
No, you're not gonna average in anymore.
Yeah, I know. I should have just accepted the big loss, but I averaged in because I thought it found support and then broke it. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, it's just doing nothing right here. I'm searching the news and shit to see if there's anything going on. GameStop's ripping. Nvidia's coming down a little bit. Uh, Myrna is got added to the fade.
Here we go.
Myrna's
Here we go.
high. Nice little
Here's
pump.
some buyers. To the moon.
And so notice the tempo on this, guys. So notice the move up has a lot more juice to it than how we were moving down. Almost like they offered it to to uh to the sellers and they're like, yeah, I'm not selling anything down there. Oof. Somebody smacked.
Yeah,
Is
they're
it?
just getting out of the way.
Yeah.
I left for 2 seconds. It came back up.
Above that 90, well, above the 90, we saw the capitulation, right? Bounced up. The next level up that we'd be looking for is like 97, and 97 could trigger us a nice little short covering rally. Look at that G high mechanical right off the F half back. But up above this 97, that's where a lot of this volume came in originally when we were bleeding down. That could cause a nice little short covering rally. Take that high.
on, buyers.
Kind of. Your chart has the
Right,
VWAP?
How about you bring it up?
No, I did. I'm not in it. Good.
Brad, I need your help here. I need all your accounts to go along right here. This is the move.
I'll take it to 45, 4,500 and 1/4. Clear big profits. No, this is not really a zone that I'm trying to play in. I'm not really a huge fan of going long when the market's one time framing down. I'm also not a fan of going short when the market's putting in single prints below us. So today's a tough day. I've really been being tight picking my spots. I've closed a lot of trades today for like one tick or one tick down, ticks here, two ticks there, just getting in and getting out quick. Still no volume yet down here. Watch the 90 level again. That was the flip zone last time. Capitulation from sellers, giving buyers a chance. If it gets below the 90, you could see inversely the same thing happen where buyers that jumped in are going to get smacked down a little bit. For the G high is mechanical right off that F halfback, and the G low is also off the halfback. What price is the VWAP at, Alex? Oh, there it is.
Mine is at
And then right back.
44.8650.
Okay, 86.50.
I'm not 100% sure that's accurate because of the way the chart draws the VWAP.
Yeah, it is kind of weird sometimes.
Mine's showing 81.75, but I feel like mine's always different than yours.
Oh, so weak.
This one says
So weak.
82. Who knows, guys? I stopped using the daily VWAP, I'll be honest. Like, I just don't use it anymore. Wasn't doing it just wasn't giving me any information that I couldn't deduct from just looking at the profile. So they held the 90 right there. It came back down like almost to the 90 and they held it. There was no real pickup of volume on that move down either if you're looking over there at the profile. Hey, GameStop getting squeezed up again, guys. Hope you guys are loaded up. Earnings season. The volume started to increase a little bit on that move down, but that could just be telling us in F period that where we saw all the volume this low, which is this here, an increase below. Wonder if my uncle has those.
I need a 20-point move up.
Jesus
That'd be,
Christ.
that would be great right now. That's what we need.
20 points. They say kiss in one hand and wish in the other. See which one fills up first.
Mm-hmm. Need Powell to just come on and be like, the economy is doing great, the best it's ever done.
Here you go. They held that 90 pretty clean here. So if they can buy over the 94, should probably take us up to that 97.
Oh, come on. Dude, I've never been so happy to get out of a trade. Like I've had to sweat this thing.
Not fun.
No, it's not. Oh my God, just do it. Just so I can get out.
The tempo's picking up on the downside here. I'm careful. GME apes can only do so much. What was the other meme coin? Um, oh, they held the 90 again. They're pounding it. Remember, this is a capitulation point for the sellers last time, so it could be the same thing for buyers. But they're so far holding it. What was the other meme stock? Remember, there was another one. It wasn't just GameStop.
AMC and Bed
Oh,
Bath and Beyond.
there it is. AMC.
Dude, my cousin,
It's ripping.
he's like 60 grand on AMC right now.
Oh, dude, I got a couple boys that are deep in the AMC game. Yeah, especially after this, or not AMC, GME. But I'm probably
Oh my God.
they're
we were
probably
so
the same
close.
people.
Dude, I was like 3 ticks away from being positive. Jesus. It was so close. I should have just took the loss.
Of, told you about averaging. Thick.
I know.
Sometimes you just lose. It just happens, right? Cowboys don't win
Yeah.
every game,
Yeah.
even when they
Should.
should. With that roster, they should win every game. I mean, somehow they don't. But yeah, one of my boys after earnings was saying that this thing's gonna pop hard. So I bought a couple calls, but nothing. I mean, I wish I fucking went hard deep in the game, but so we see back above that 90, right? It had a little give up, but no real push through. The thing that kind of made me nervous about that downside right there is there was kind of increasing tempo. Now we're just looking to get above this 94.50, above that 94.50, which is the high. Oops, we could see some
Yeah, we just need to
there's
get
just
above
so
95.
yeah, I mean there's just all this negative delta here. All these offers are just trading on the bid. All these trades are trading on the bid. Basically from like 4,500 to like 90. That every trade is trading on the bid. So technically means that's a sell order, right? We can't know for sure, but kind of what that's telling us. And yet price is not going lower, right? That's something that's significant. But it also does look very mechanical too.
Okay.
A book oh, what's up, TJ?
I was gonna say when you get a second, if you could drop your chart in the Discord, would be awesome.
Oh, the Sierra charts? Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do you think you could drop your I forget what it's called. I think it's like the studies file or whatever, like the one that has the all the market profile settings.
I don't know how to do that. I know if I send you my workspace, everything will pop up. So you'll have like
Yeah,
the TPO, it'll all be like this. It probably will even have the lines on it. And then I have like my on my other screen the DOM, and then I have a TPO on my main screen as well. Oh, I've got to open another chart book to copy.
Buy it now, boys. It's on discount.
Yeah, I mean, you need him to get above that 94.50, Jared, or else
Dude,
you know, drop back.
95 is my break even. Like I'm just like
Oh,
getting
okay.
there. Like, that's all. All I need. I've been in this trade for 45 minutes already. Like, jeez, come on. Here we go. Here's some buyers.
What a letdown. Mechanical selling again off that G high. No interest either. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no,
What?
no, 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 no.
I know. It's like I know. Oh no. Dude, should I just like get out at this and just take like a, $200 loss or something?
$200 not that big of a loss. I don't know how many lots you're running, but
Enough.
it's not really hard to make not really too hard to make that up, you know, it's just 4 points. Of course I measure everything in points, so
Oh no.
Oh, just try it.
Oh.
95.
Oh,
Ooh.
One tick, 2 contracts, 1 contract. Oh, there's a little bit of buying there. They're trying to smack that 95. So someone's holding it here, right? Someone's trying to. And you can see that high volume nodule and look where they're selling it. The F open. So mechanical today. Grind both sides. There you go. There's some buyers lifting the offer there. Now we'll see a nice little pop here.
Did you get out or are you staying in?
Like who's
Dude,
38
I
lot orders
know.
that?
I'm staying in just a sec.
Jared's a degenerate gambler. He doesn't.
Hey, shut up.
Notice he didn't say, "Hey, that's not true." He just said, "Shut up."
You're gonna be saying, "Man, I should have got out."
Above 97. Here we go. There we
Yes.
go. Here we
I'm the
go.
greatest. Oh, dude.
yeah.
I was over here sweating.
Took enough heat on that.
Hey,
Seriously,
easy
damn.
with that shit. My sharp ratio is not looking good today.
No, that was disgusting to just even listen to. Look at GameStop, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna be rich. I hope it goes to 200.
Hey,
My god.
Brad, I haven't told you about my cousin Jordan, dude. He is so funny. He made like 50 or 60 grand, dude, off Dogecoin, right? And he he dumped it, dude, just YOLO'd it all into AMC at like $50 a share.
Genius. I mean, that's just gambling. I won't say it's genius,
Yeah,
but he's gonna be rich.
dude, if it does, run up, then yeah, he'll
I
kill
mean,
it.
it's still running up. Yeah, yeah. My buddy ended up buying a house for cash in the Bay Area, off of that first GameStop run up. So Just Google the average median for a house in the Bay Area. It's like 500 grand, I think. I didn't ask him how much he made because that's just impolite, but he bought a house cash. He told me that. I was like, okay. Okay, I see.
I see you.
Guess what kind of car he drives?
Honda Accord.
Altima.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
I preach the Altima hard to everybody I meet too. I'm like, bro, what's up? What's up with this piece of shit car you have? Get an Altima, bro. She'll last forever. Of course, I'm gonna have to sell my car here pretty soon, unfortunately, because I gotta get an all-wheel drive car for the East Coast.
Well, I got out, Brad. I got out.
Yeah.
Got out in the green.
Happy for you.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
No, that was shit today. Just
No,
remember,
hey, I don't want to hear it.
your trade journal that you don't have should be highlighted in red today. Even though you made money, it still wasn't pretty.
I just wrote DUM dumb on it. I can be honest with you. Okay, I'll be honest with the trade room. I entered that trade, then I averaged in, and then I averaged in again, and I think I was down like 1,600, and then I got out for like 375 profit.
Oh, I thought it was much worse than that. I was thinking like 5 grand down or something like that.
No, no.
Oh well, I'm actually proud of you then. Old
Yeah, I
Gerald,
didn't
you
have
would
on
have,
that many
you would have
lots.
fucking smacked 10 lots on down there somewhere. That's why I thought you said you averaged in. I'm like, oh shit.
I wish I did, but no, no, too risky.
Slow and steady.
And now I'm in capitulation because I'm like, damn, it moved up so much. We going up? Like, should I put on more right here? But now I'm like scared as fuck to trade.
If they can fix that E high, right? So that'll be their target here. Will be that E high. A little bit of selling off this fucking mess of halfbacks here, but that target will be the E high, and then if the D excess holds, then we'll probably rotate all the way back down to 90 again, I imagine. The G low is still a mechanical low, but not necessarily. We should mark that. Mark that because it could, if the range starts to extend, that's not going to be halfback anymore. We'll just remember it. I'll write it down. 86.50. My pens are gone. My stuff. My kids come in here and like sit in my chair with all the screens and like, ooh, ah, wee, wah, I have a chair, king of the castle. Have you guys watched the new Borat movie? Where he like stays in the house. It's like the follow on. He like stays in the house with these two like rednecks.
Yeah, the
It's
QAnon
so
people.
funny. Yeah, they're like the most like, yeah, they're hardcore. That 97 acted as support again on that on this little pullback here. Once we broke it, popped up almost to that, what's that, like the 99. popped down to that 97, held it as support again. So we're still here holding this long. Looking for that buy. Weak.
Just want to thank everybody in the trade room that went long back there. Helped me out.
Can you see that 30 lot hit the order? Just up right up to the 97. Yeah, so let's watch this 97, 96.50 level here when it comes. It holds it again. That'll kind of tell us buyers are coming up. You saw them move down and backfill that. Now we're back above it. So this is a pretty key resistance though, and it has been kind of from since like for about like the past. Right, they're all kind of like 4,500 area. People are selling the 4,500 naturally. People don't understand how auctions work and how cost pricing and stuff works.
And here we go.
Target, I said it's gonna be that E high. Try to fix that mechanic. Above 4,500, we should see some good stop running. There's got to be a lot of people, I imagine, short from 4,500. It's just such a psychological number, such an easy number to see. You know what I mean? Like everybody can see, oh shit, 4,500, right? Or 450 on the SPY. I don't think the SPY's at 450 yet. It's at 449. SPY's actually been kind of trailing the futures, which is weird because I haven't really seen that. Not that I've paid attention to that much, but just today I'm actually noticing it. So I just feel like it's not. I feel like it doesn't normally happen, but it could just be because I was looking at my options this morning and how stupid I am for not closing them. So boom, bounce off the 97 again. They're just buying that point of control, it looks like. One tick up that time. And yeah, see, they like that level. Keep buying it. Oil doing? Not sure. Oil's still red. Get up there.
Go.
Struggling here. I'm ready. Why? Should just be. Nobody's giving up yet. They're like, it's too early in the day. I won't give this level up. Sellers trying to absorb here, but they're basically fucked. Do it. There it is. So right back under the 4,500 after that nice little pop up there to the 4,502. Back down to see if buyers still like the 4,500 level. Like, all right, we gave you guys a little bit of ground. Let's see if you guys can buy it again. Look at the profile on the right. See that kind of right at the 4,500, big volume, right? It's showing us that there is interest up here and that buyers are coming up here to buy it. We just need to see the continuation. So this is the spot pretty much all day where we've just seen no follow through from buyers, no strength. But if we can get some added on short covering followed with some extra buying, there's some decent odds here. At least to fix this E high. Then we'll just pay attention to the excess.
So I connected my data to Sierra charts, and on like the right where it shows like the price bar, it shows the active price, but the letters like the TPO is like an hour behind. I don't know what's going on.
It's the hours. You have to adjust the hours. When Sierra charts updated this weekend, it did something stupid too. It changed the hours on all my charts.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably what it is then, because I think I'm still using that other one you had posted.
Yeah, that's probably it probably got updated on the hours. Come on, one tick. Let's go. Give it to me. I feel like Jared, except for I'm long from 97. Not looking to break even. You still in here?
Yeah, I'm still in here.
Okay.
I'm still in this long. What you talking about?
I'm like Jared. I'm just not taking heat.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, easy with that shit, dog.
DJ had to explain the joke to you. There we go. So there we go. So now we're one tick above, right? Could get some continuation, but this is that point where if you're long from below, the 97 is support level, 98, 99, 4,500 level, and we've just fixed this poor high, we're running into excess, and we know that excess is the end of an auction. And so you should be looking to cover a position here, or at least tightening up your stop here, right? I had my take profit at 42.50, and then another one right here above the E high, and I've got two more that I'm just going to try to trail up. But if we get weakness up here, and it does look like it really just kind of looks like it's doing nothing. There's no supply either, and it kind of tells me I can be a little bit more patient with this. That 89 tick on the top though isn't my. There we go. But in this situation, I know it's not like, there's no fucking resistance up till 45.15, and then above that, what did we say above that? What was the daily? What are we at? 45. Yeah, 45.19-ish. What was the top of this? The high was 20, 45.20, and then the high of that range, that 45.80. So, but paying attention to the chart in front of us, we know this is a spot where most of the time longs were getting out of their positions here. So, but we didn't see the volume that we're seeing last time like we're seeing this time. It's just making me nervous that 89 on the top tick. Because there's trapped buyers up there at that 45.0575. Or 45.0350, I mean. There. But it looks like we want more upside. Oh, look at this shit. On the tear. GameStop 2.0. Oh my god. I didn't get to I mean I didn't get to be a part of the first one, so cool to see it this time. I wasn't sold. No, that wasn't me placing an order then. That was probably Jared.
That's just me buying tops over here.
I haven't figured out how Sierra makes any noise when you place orders. There's probably a way, I'm sure. I just haven't done anything with it.
That's the key. You want to buy the tops, short the bottom.
It's
Very
under
good.
general settings, Brad. There's an alert tab.
I'm out before they do it, minus a couple.
What's going on here? It's under what? The general alerts?
Sorry, I walked away. It's under general global settings, general alerts, or general settings rather, and then like the fourth tab on the top says alerts.
Oh, okay, I see it. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I can upload the 50-cent file. And
But what have I done?
I just love hearing that. Now I just sing it to myself. Liquidity. Like, dang. I'm like a fortune teller today. And really, it's not me. I'm not. I mean, it's just that the market is just playing the game by the book today. So
Ah, there's some buyers right there. They're still stepping up on that 4,500.
yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, that's a big psychological number too, or a big psychological reference, just like the 200 moving average. A big close above it, especially on a big bar like this, opening and just closing at the top is, I mean, pretty much what we saw all last week. Yesterday was just that doji, but the only reason really was probably because the Fed scare. But Powell's also on again tomorrow too, early, I think at 5 a.m. So I might have to go to bed early tonight. Ugh.
Brad, you can't fool me. You're a wizard. Or you have a time machine.
Like that movie Next, I can just see 2 minutes into the future.
There you go.
That's all you need.
I love Nicolas Cage, bro. People hate him. I think he's awesome. I could watch National Treasure like over and over.
Right?
I fucking love that movie. I mean, I'm gonna go to DC here pretty soon. Once we move, we'll probably do a little vacation down there because I like all that old shit. And I'm always like touching stuff that is like behind the rope just in case. Like, what happens if I jiggle this a little bit? Is the door gonna open? No. But like, yeah, stop touching that. Like, hey, bro, it's
Dude, I'm all pissed off, man. They've been talking about making a National Treasure 3 for like so long, and they confirmed it that it was supposed to come out in 2022, and then I don't know, I haven't heard anything more about it. I'm like, well, when's
I
this thing
heard
coming out?
I heard Nicolas Cage had like a falling out with
Producer or something, right?
the movie producer or something. And if it's not, and that's the thing, I hate when sequels are produced by like a new person. It's like Halo 4. or Halo, even Halo 3. You know, just a fucking letdown. Why did the same people that made such a good game at Halo 2 not make Halo 3? What happened here? Why did this happen? We can wait for Halo 3. Don't release this shitty one.
What was it on? There's like a new Halo series or something. It's like on Hulu or Prime or something.
Oh yeah, and somebody said it's like super political based,
Oh
and
God.
they couldn't take it. One of my buddies.
Everything is nowadays.
Fire Club show's doing that now. They ruined Wheel
You
of
know
Time.
it's good.
I've been
Uh,
waiting 30 years for that TV show.
Yeah, yeah. I forget what they did. Well, I haven't watched it, but like that's what I heard it ruined. And it's like you're talking about, something that's not real. And they try to relate it to what's going on the earth today. It's like, God damn it. I want to see Master Chief just flying around, killing bad guys. Okay? That's it. None of this other nonsense. If I wanted some nonsense, I'd look for a movie that Destiny made. Destiny is just like the drama version of Halo. And the only reason it became popular is because there wasn't a Halo out when Destiny came out. And it was cross-platform. But other than that, the game, and actually, I mean, if you had friends that played it, you could do like the quests and stuff or the raids. That show was actually pretty fun because it was challenging, and you could get some toxic lobbies too. Like when you didn't do well, people would remind you that you did not do well. You know what Jared and I were talking about yesterday? If you guys play any online games and never played an NHL game online, and those I think are probably the most toxic lobbies on video games now. I mean, Call of Duty's on with the lobbies now, but those Canadians, I'm telling you, rough.
Not polite online, huh?
They're like, I mean, they're just once they hear your American accent, they just go in. A lot of people that play the NHL game are hockey players, and a lot of them are like really good. My buddy Casey was really good at that game.
Damn, getting some support here. I like it.
Yeah, they keep buying that 4,500, but they're not really getting any follow through. We need to see some more volume. But I mean, if you look here, there's decent volume building higher. Right? We had that 4,500, 4,501, 4,502. So they're starting to step up. Now look for them to hold the impulse here. So 4,503. We don't want to see price really get below 4,503 this time. And if it does, we want it to stay there for maybe 1 second. If not, we're going to be pressing that flat button. There's 4,503. They're buying it again. Good news here. There we go. They're losing it. Losing it. A little bit of buying off the half back of H period right there. So no gusto there at the top. Look at that top tick is only has 180 contracts traded on at that time. Still holding some decent support though. 503. They're gonna buy it again. Come on. Oh, they're talking about cryptocurrency. They're talking about how China is looking like they're kind of leading because they made a digital currency, their own digital currency. This lady on Bloomberg just said we don't want to compete with China because we don't want to out China the Chinese. Like, what the fuck? Is that a sentence? That's
Sounds like Joe Biden wrote her speech, huh?
what the fuck? There's just I feel like nobody actually knows anything about crypto. Like once you start talking to somebody about crypto, they start just drifting off into like the deep blockchain, and like when you try to get like the bottom of it, it's just like it's like it's almost like a rehearsed story. And I'm not talking about like people that are actually involved with crypto. I'm talking about like the general people that report on crypto. You know,
Definitely.
like when you read papers and people write about crypto, you're just like, have you ever like looked into anything like a company? It's the same idea. You can look into find out all the information about these coins. Oil's starting to go up, guys. It's green. So be careful here. Luis, are you still holding that Bitcoin short in here? Oh, here's something. Look at this.
Dude, I wonder if this level right here is gonna hold at 44.98.75. I wonder if that's gonna hold. Active support or
This is a
something like that.
huge this is a huge Bitcoin move before the invasion, like back in September. 45,000 Bitcoin. A fucking lot of Bitcoin. Would you say, Jared? You wonder if the what level? 98?
Let's a little late for it now.
Oh, sorry. Or I said that excess acts as resistance. Only got those 108. So big selling looked like it came in, or I mean, big covering liquidation at like 97 again. So look for them to try to hold it below the 97. Today's really just a day to just play those levels. So, I mean, if they're able to hold it right here, doesn't not looking great. But if they're able to get it back above 97, that might be another buying opportunity there. But with oil ripping up, like we've been saying, it's been trading. Oops, inversely trading with the market. You can see oil just had a nice big rip to the upside. Green on the day. Not by much, but a couple bucks.
I just tried to place a long, just for an experiment on my sim account, but it was on my real money account.
On what? On ES? Oh.
I mean, I had a tight stop, so I mean, I only lost like 1 point, but still. And the thing is, like, I have my order book set to be like
What do I have?
bright red whenever I'm live.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's annoying that happened.
Do you just track your position on the DOM? Like, is there a screen you have to have pulled up to like see your lot, like everything you've done, or the position you're in, or anything?
It'll show up on the DOM.
Where do you go to set like your bracket? Like right now, it's some crazy wide bracket.
So if you click on chart or click on whatever chart you want it to be on, and then click on trade, and then it'll say open trade window for chart or attach trade window for chart. So normally what I do is I just attach it and then close it. Attach it, set my brackets, and then close it. But it's nice to have it attached because it'll be right there on your chart, and then you can set up different brackets with these numbers, and switch brackets on, like, if you add orders on the way up. Like typically, like if I'm in a winning position and I add, typically when I add a position, the stop is a lot tighter than my initial position that I started with. So because I don't want to be adding and then average, like have it come back down to my average and then be a waste of my time. So it's nice to have it on there. I like it.
Sierra has a bunch of different types of stops and stuff and targets that you can set. It's really cool. Triggered limit, triggered step, trail stop, triggered limit with chase. There's like a one that was like really cool. I forget what it was. Trade volume triggered stop. Like all kinds of really neat ones.
That was selling off the 97 again right there. So we got 5 minutes until a new bar. They're just fighting over this 97 levels. $15 lot just lifts the offer. Oh, and then gets smacked right back down. They're just fighting over this 97. Like a little short covering there.
Hello.
51 hit the bid right there on that 97. They're trying to hold the 97 here. Lose it, and it's gonna run probably. Seem to have lost it. So the next level up would be like 4,500 if they lose this level here. You can see how thin, right? 518. Every time it gets there, it kind of ticks back down. So that's where the absorption's at. But above that, probably takes us straight to 4,500, and then just mark all those levels: 4,501, 4,502, 4,503, right? That's where all the volume came in, probably selling volume, and then it will just, those will become targets to the upside. That rate. Still trying to absorb here. You saw how they kind of switched right there, right? You saw that on that 99. There was a bidder up there, or someone lifting the offer, I mean, and someone was just catching that, right? Some seller just kind of absorbing that buyer. And that was on right here. Yeah, a quarter. $98 quarter. Oh.
Ooh, I got smacked on that short.
I just said it was gonna go up. Weird.
You did. You said it like way after the fact, after I entered it.
Oh. We still got room up here, guys. So, I mean, those targets, that 02 and the 03, those are the targets for buyers here. We saw a lot of selling, and price didn't really get anywhere on that H low. Just went back to the point of control. They bought it back up, brought it back up, and then as soon as they lost that 97, we covered right to that 4,500. And now it's just, well, can they just tick it? There's the one. They're just going to keep going one at a time, right? Slowly just grinding their way up. I gotta look back at my trades today and see how many times I've traded the 97. I'm pretty sure I traded 97 early in the session too. 97 was a big level today.
So you think we're gonna keep going up and test like the 0450? Oh,
I don't know. It died up there, so like the volume didn't carry up there as much as I thought it was gonna. And once it fixed that weak reference, that E high, the excess still holds. So 3 ticks of excess, and in reality, it's probably like 5 ticks of excess. Is pretty good excess. And so if they're able to hold that up there, then it could act as resistance. But coming into the end of the day, because what are we? J is normally correction time. So J, we might get a little bit of rotation. But if we get a big market move in either direction, I imagine that we're going to have a big turn in the opposite direction after, because I think people are literally just sitting at their computers waiting for the momentum play today. And, us being profile traders, we're making money off of them because they're buying these tops waiting for the breakout and selling these bottoms waiting for the breakdown. And, we've been doing the exact opposite. I feel bad, but what can you do? trying to help them discover the trade bets in the profile. Oh shit. Uh-oh, Jared's on the sim. I hope so, because that was a lot of orders. I felt like I heard 4 right there, Jared. I know yesterday I talked about not hearing more than 2, so. So there's the 2, next is the 3, and watch that top tick. If you start to see that thing, see where it says 180, if we start to see that thing hit, then we could get some movement, but you see it just kind of dies out right there again. Right at that E high, it's like a deja vu here. Has everybody watched The Matrix? If you haven't, I wish I could just play it on my YouTube channel and just put it on. We could all watch it together and get banned. I'll have to call my boy. Be like, yo, just let me play it on the channel. Above this 4503, we could see, there we go. Yeah, you could see some real capitulation from these settlers here. Start extending this range a little bit. Will we get a triple distribution day again? Oil doing? Damn it, it's Colgate. I'm like, what the fuck? Doesn't look like oil. Oil still holding the high here. So this might be giving confidence. With oil holding the high like this, it's going to give confidence to these short sellers up here. And lack of confidence to buyers, right? They're not going to be buying highs if oil keeps going up. They could, shit. It looks like we trapped some sellers there. It's interesting. Has to be the first one, yeah, the first matrix. The second 2 movies, you just watch for the action. Just fast forward through the bullshit. They tried to go political in those second and third movie. They ruined it. Guys, this is another thing that I want to talk about. Remember last week where we talked about how we thought oil was just going to go into this big range, right? And everyone was saying, oh shit, bear market, oil's crashing, blah, blah, blah. Look at it. It just bounced right back up, right off of the trend line, right back up. This is why it's so important when you're trading. It looks like oil's coming down a little bit. It's so important when you're trading to, understand the bias that might be lurking in your brain, or try to find it. If you feel like you don't have a bias, just try to find it. It's there somewhere, because everyone always has a bias. It's ingrained into human DNA.
Order filled.
What's that?
Order filled.
Oh, order. Oh,
Order filled.
Somebody's person is English? I didn't know you could do that. Is that Tommy? right back in the range. He has the James Bond mod. He's got Ninja Trader, but he's in England, so they just give him the English version. You know, that would actually make me feel less bad if when I lost a trade, he's like, stop filled, but with an English accent. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Oh, you got the sound nice. The BBBY? Yeah. It's ripping too. All the meme stocks are on the high. We're going to have to dig into this after the market today. I'm not doing nothing today. You guys ever have those days where you just plan on doing nothing? Like you're like, what do you want to do tomorrow? I'm not going to do shit, right? Let's GameStop, Bed Bath and Beyond. Does anyone have a Bed Bath and Beyond in their city that's not going out of business? The one even here in Yuba City is out of business. And I know because all their shit went on sale, and I was like, oh shit, come up. Oh man, it's already almost 11. Well, we could do what we have been doing. I could turn off the stream, and then all of a sudden, market will just decide for us. That happened like 3 times last week, which was cool. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. If you have any questions at what you're looking at here, just throw a comment in the chat. Make sure to press the like and subscribe. Caesar, Sierra cost about $35 a month, but then you needed data, so it's really like about $65 a month. If you want, so there's a way to do it for I guess different, right? So if you sign up for one of those funded accounts, you're going to get the data, right? And so if you sign up for like a $50,000 account, it'll cost you about 80, $95 with the code SAVE50, and you'll get the data from that. You can download, you get Ninja Trader for free with that. So if you didn't want to get Sierra, you can get Ninja Trader. I have templates for both. The only thing with Ninja Trader is you won't have access to a TPO because you need a lifetime license for that. But with Sierra charts, if you just get the $35 package a month, you'll be looking at about, you know, $125 a month total to have Sierra charts with that $50,000 account. And then, you know, you open that up and then you trade the micros until you get to $3,000 profit. You get your account funded, and then, you know, boom, go from there. That's exactly what my dad did. Well, he didn't do Sierra. He did Ninja Trader and just bought the add-ons. But the TPO add-on. And honestly, that's all you need, really. It is the TPO chart. So the I open and the H open were the same. That tells you the indecision in H period. But they went up, they went down, and they came right back to the open at the end of the period. So that tells you the indecision of the market here, which is probably why they weren't able to take that high this time. But it still doesn't look weak, you know what I mean? Like if you're looking at this profile, it's looking even more like a P profile now though. And it really does look like people are taking advantage of anytime price comes below this 4,500 level, and you're seeing, you know, price kind of stopping down lower and lower here. Who funds the account with the process? No, it's through Apex Trader. So like the guy that runs Apex, Daryl, he's the one who funds the accounts. But it's through Rhythmic, so it's you connect the Rhythmic data to Sierra charts, and that's how you're able to trade your account. So yeah, I guess external company would be the answer, the long answer.
Hey Brad, on your DOM, how it's got like the red numbers and the blue numbers.
Yeah.
Can you just explain kind of what that means and quick overview maybe?
Oh yeah.
Can you get a second? Don't have to be right now, but
Trying to find it. Which one? So a quick explanation about the DOM, right? A tool that I don't really recommend using until you understand how we're tracking value here, but basically inside this blue column, it's showing us resting buy orders, right? So we can see, let me make the pen a little bit. We can see 44 orders here, 70 orders here, 150 here, 105, 100, right? You can see a little bit of the resting orders, right? The numbers on this side are orders that executed on the offer. So buy orders that are, technically buy orders that are moving from the bid and hitting the offer, right? Lifting the offer, as they say. And then these red numbers are orders that are hitting the bid, moving down off the offer to hit the bid. And then I think this is like on a 10-second refresh or something like that to keep the orders there, just so I can see when they're going down. This is the same as this, but on one tick, right? Because I have my TPO on 2 ticks per TPO. So we can see 52 lots on that top tick. And then this is just a bid ask profile, just to kind of, I just like to see the shape of these. Just something I like to look at. And then, of course, these up here are the sell orders or resting sell offers, same as the blue, but just resting orders. And so the way that I'm using this, and in all honesty, the only thing I'm really looking at is this center column for the most part. The only thing I really care about, because I just like to see who's being more aggressive, and sometimes this will tell us. A straight line.
so does it have to be like a market order in order for it to show that it moved down? Because if it was a limit order, then it would just be on the same side, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so this is showing that these are market orders hitting the bid. And so the bid, whoever's on the bid is getting filled passively, and then whoever moves down to the bid, in this case the sellers move down to the bid, they're moving aggressively. What would you say the top firms to get funded from? Whatever is the cheapest, honestly. uh Apex is, I've had no issues with Apex, like no issues getting my payments, no issues with how their system is set up. The thing is every funded account is set up in a certain scheme. I'll show you in a second. Any more questions about this, TJ?
Right. I have a question.
No,
Brad,
that
Oh.
makes sense.
could you show us your like your setting for the DOM?
Oh yeah.
It's not chart settings, it's DOM settings. It's like I want to see your columns.
Window. Let me see. This way.
Turn on I don't know how to get there from the.
Here it is. I found it. You're talking about this, or you're talking about these columns, like to set them up in order?
Yeah, the DOM. The DOM.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not it. Those are DOM settings. The customized chart DOM. Do you have the order window up? Because I know how to get there from the order window.
I don't, but I could pull it up.
Trade orders window.
Okay. Yeah, what do I press?
You would go down. You hit the M. Are you under main?
Oh, okay, yeah.
M, and then you would say customize chart trade DOM columns. I think that's.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it. We have there.
I could send you the template.
Yeah, but then it would mess up all my windows.
Hmm.
And I have to like it. I haven't figured out how to do that without messing everything. But I think that. Okay.
Yeah, that's the studies I was talking about. Like if you go to if you click on your chart and you click on analysis at the top,
Oh, okay.
and then and you go to studies, then you can save all of those studies at the very bottom. You just put a name, and then it lets you like quickly change between stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
You'd have to click on the chart though. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's on the
I'd have to reattach it. Yeah, yeah. Normally when I'm trying to get to those kind of settings, I have to reattach my chart to the whatever it's called. And then this column here is just pulling and stacking, so it's just telling you if people are pulling and stacking. You can adjust it. I don't think it's very accurate. And then depending upon the data feed that you have, you can get market buy order. So it'll tell you like this lot of 110. It'll put a little order right here and saying like maybe 56 of those are one order, most likely. There's no way to know for sure, but most likely that's what they look at. But yeah, we can talk about the funded thing real quick as well. What's the most popular one? Best. We'll just Google trader program. Here we go. Apex happens. They're probably paying for this ad. There we go. Let's find out what the best one is. Top Step. And I'll show you the issue, right? And it's on everyone. We can go back and go to all of them. But I don't want to. I mean, I could show you on it. What the fuck's happening here? I could show you on Apex too because it's the same issue. So this is the issue here, and the issue is it's a psychological issue that you think that you're getting an account that has $50,000 in it, right? That's the issue. You get 5 contracts, great, right? Your daily loss limit is $1,000. Okay, so what's the leverage if you use 5 contracts to get to $1,000? You know, let me see.
That's like
20
points.
like 20 it's I think it's 20 points. 20 points divided by 5, yeah, so it would be 4. Yeah. 20 points on one contract. And that's the thing, 20 points can add up quick. You figure, what are you going to set your stop loss at if you're trading the ES, right? 1 point, 2 points, right? There's $100. your trailing max drawdown is 2 grand. So there's 2 points or 8 points on the 4 lots or 5 lots. So the issue is that they tell you to do this, right? But they give you the opportunity to trade the ES when in reality you don't have 5 grand. This is a 2 grand account. That's what it is. It's 2 grand. If you lose 2 grand, this account is worthless. So it's not a $50,000 account. It's a 2 grand account. And with this 2 grand account, like I always tell you, you should be having at least 5K per lot that you trade in your account. And if you don't, you're I mean, not gambling, but you're not managing risk very well, because you could blow your account pretty quickly doing that. And so the issue is, if you're going to get into something like this, make sure that you trade the fucking MES. If you can't trade the MES up to whatever the profit target, 3 grand, then you're not going to fucking trade the ES there consecutively, consistently over an extended period of time. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's just a fact of life. It's just not going to happen. Because, yeah, you could trade well one day, and like I said, one lot, 20 points, that's all you need. You get in, a couple runners, boom, you nailed it. And you made 3 grand. It only took you 2 days, and you're like, here we go. Get to the next go, and then you do the same thing. But it's just as easy to make it. It's just as easy to lose it. And yeah, that's the same on the MES. But in the MES, it gives you a lot more opportunity to learn and actually practice your skill or your trade strategy, because you're able to sit in positions a little bit longer. Right? So I know everyone's anxious to trade the ES. And I'll be honest, I started on the ES as well. Right? And I went back to the MES, and then once I was comfortable, I came back up to the big leagues. But that's what you've got to think about. It's if we imagine, what's a sport that everybody knows? I mean, imagine going from a minor league baseball team and a major league baseball team. So you have the micro and the mini. And you just, first day, you're like, yeah, major leagues is where I need to be at, right? And you would just strike out every pitch because you're like, well, goddamn, that curveball, too much, can't hit it. They give you an opportunity to practice in the minor leagues before you go up to the major leagues, and they don't tell you about it. They're like, hey, you can trade the ES with only $500 in your account. Here you go. Right? It's like giving them money. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you exceed your max drawdown, they just cut your account, and you have to pay like another $80 or whatever their, I don't know about Top Step, whatever their refresh or like a account thing is. You know what I mean? So I really do advocate for people that don't have a lot of money, because it kind of takes, to get the right tools, it kind of takes a lot of money to start up. And then once you're started up trading futures, you're pretty much good. So these a lot of times offer you a platform to trade the futures on. Just trade the micros. Right? Trade the micros. I've even made a cheat sheet for everybody. Here.
Dude,
Sorry.
what is the market gonna do?
My other
here?
monitor.
It looks like it wants to break this top.
Yeah, watch the volume. You are getting some key volume here. Just getting kind of held down, it looks like. This is a big capitulation point too. This 4506 had 52 contracts on it, and there's a 59 lot that traded right below it. If they get above that, you're going to see some running. And there's resting orders basically on every even number here. So now we have a poor high. What happened there? Only 20 contracts traded on that top tick that time. That's pretty weak. I'd like to see some more people getting up here and lifting the offer. We can get some continuation. Two contracts. We ticked it up once, ticked it up again. There we go. There you go. Smack them a little. You're seeing some absorption here, probably up above like the 5/4 till they pop that 5/4, then get going. That looks like the ticket. Yeah. Someone's trying to absorb up here. They're having a tough time. So what do you say? Roughly how much would it cost to start trading the mini ES era without funding? If you do that, the new order routing with Sierra, you'd be paying like $65 a month, and you would just have to put, I think it's like $400 in a stage 5 trading account. But I wouldn't recommend trading the mini. I'd trade the micro. That. But yeah, so here's something I made. My dad and I actually made this. I think I've showed it to you a little bit, but we've kind of readjusted it. Just ignore the symbol. It should say MES, but I've just given a drop down so you can kind of pick whatever you're trading. So, but if you're looking for the goal of 3% of your account, your stop loss can be, $25. So 5 points. You give yourself 5 points on the day trading the MES, right? And over time, $75 a day, you look at it, and this is your account size, that $2,500 I was talking about. Your target is $3,000, so it's gonna be $3,500, or $5,300 in about 35 days. If you're able to maintain consistency over those 35 days, you can hit your goal, right? So not too bad. And let's say you have losing days, and you're gonna have winning days that are more than this, losing days that are more than this, right? This is just saying if you made $86 every single day. That's how long it would take to get there, minus the commissions, depending upon how you made it to that $86 per day. If you're over trading like shit, then you're gonna get murdered by commission. But it kind of calculates everything for you, and it gives you like the setup, like what kind of setup did you take. This is how I track all of my stuff. Did the idea work? Did the idea fail? Did the idea fail and you lost money on it? Did the idea work and you still lost money on it, right? And then grade your entry. Were you patient? Grade your risk. Were you having good risk management? All these things like that you want to keep in your journal for doing that. And now the reason that I went with Apex trading is because with that same 50K account, instead of the 2K drawdown, you get 2,500. So you get extra 500 with this. But see, and this is something that Apex does. Look, he gives you access to 10 contracts, right? So he's just like, ever seen this big ruby? If you touch it, the sand tiger will kill you. But you can make $3,000 really quick if you touch it. You know, so it's kind of and it's the same thing on all these accounts, right? 35 contracts on 20K. That's just too many contracts. If you had a $20,000 account, or if you, I mean, on a $7,500 account, and you had 35 contracts on, you're gonna be one tick away from getting a margin call. You know. And then once you pass the account, it's only $85 a month, and that $85 a month comes with NinjaTrader and a data fee. So, but it doesn't include the TPO. But you could buy the TPO add-on for like $85, I think. So poor high. We have a weak low. Stage 5 trading account? Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Call them. Or I think I would call them. Yeah. Because sometimes they could hook it up. Like depending upon who you talk to, you could get a hookup on commission. Moves your way in there. Right at 4,500 back again. All right, guys. We went a little bit long today. I think I'm gonna call it. It's 11. I get it. Pitching it. Oh, I had something to do, but now. But yeah, other than that, make sure you guys are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. Thanks for hanging out. Any questions, just shoot me a message in the Discord. I'll be around for the rest of the day. I'm sure as soon as we close the stream, the market will just make its decision and, you know, probably either shoot up or down. A quick kind of what we're looking for going forward, right? We have this poor high. If we're able to get buying above this, there's not much resistance up until that 45.20. That's kind of that level that I think like maybe 15 to 20, you could start seeing a little bit of resistance. Below, you would have to see this lower distribution get closed. And then, like we said, that prior day high, the low of today, all of that structure, it would be healthy for buyers to get up there. We haven't seen any supply, so I would be very cautious of getting short somewhere down here, right? Unless you really saw some momentum coming in. There's opportunity on both sides to keep fading these highs and buying these lows. It worked yesterday. It's working again today. Don't try to dictate what the market's trying to do or what the market is doing. Just try to understand what's going on in the auction, and just trade along with it. Right? Grab a couple bucks here, grab a couple bucks there, but don't try to overdo it. It's just gonna run into a wall. Oh yeah, TJ, I'll definitely drop that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the ES. Below, I mean, if it's able to break inside yesterday's range and close below that 200 SMA, it might liquidate hard in the Globex. But that would be a stretch. The volume today is just yeah, I mean, this is 3% less. Not much less, but still less than. Okay, so. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.